Hi, I'm Chris Shover at Dobeck Performance. Today we will be installing the electronic jet kit on a 2009 Honda CRF 450R. Today we will need the following tools: needle nose pliers, diagonal cutters, a 10mm and an 8mm socket, extension, 1/4" drive ratchet, and you will also need the Velcro and the zip ties that are provided with your electronic jet kit. The first step in the process is going to be to remove the seat. You'll need your 10mm socket for this one. There are 2 bolts, one on each side of the bike. Once the bolts are removed, you can then pull the seat back and the seat will come off. The next step, we'll have to take the fender shrouds off the sides of the gas tank. There are 4 bolts to remove on the shrouds. Once the shrouds are removed, we will need to remove the 1 bolt in the gas tank and the strap that holds it down. Once the gas tank is loose, you can pick up the gas tank and turn it to the side. This is where you may need the diagonal cutters to unplug the fuel injector. It is the gray connector at the end of the tips. To do this, you will need to press this locking tab right here down. Now that you have the injector unplugged, you will take the fuel controller, and the fuel controller comes with 2 plugs. A gray one that's identical to the one you unplugged off the fuel injector, that goes back onto the fuel injector, and a black female that will plug into the factory gray harness. When plugging the black connector into the factory gray connector, if you start at the bottom of the connector and roll them to the top, they will plug in a lot easier. Once you're plugged in, just give it a quick little yank just to make sure that it's secure. Now you will need to plug your gray connector into the fuel injector. You should hear a snap when it plugs on. Just give that another little pull just to make sure. Before routing the harness, we'll attach our ground wire. And as you see here, what I did to the ground wire is I cut the end of the ground lug off. That way it can slide behind the bolt and I won't have to remove the bolt all the way. Once just a spot to mount the ground wires up on the common ground lug behind the radiator. You will need your 8mm socket to loosen the bolt. Now we can run the rest of the fuel controller harness up toward the number plate on the right side of the frame. Now that we got our fuel controller ran up behind the number plate, we'll take cable ties to attach the wiring harness. Now with your diagonal cutters, just cut the excess tie off the zip tie. To get the number plate off, there's two 8mm bolts right behind the number plate in front of the handlebars. You may also have to remove your strap. It goes over your handlebars. Now you can take your Velcro and we will split it in half, and we'll put one half of the Velcro on the back of the number plate, just anywhere on the right side of the number plate where we routed the harness. We put the Velcro on the back of the number plate just to secure the fuel controller for actual operation of the bike. And you can also gain access to it once you put your number plate fully back on. That way you can pull it out and do quick adjustments and then slide it back behind the number plate and fasten it back down. Now we need to reassemble the bike. Now that we have the bike assembled and the unit's mounted behind the number plate, you can go ahead and pull the unit out of behind the number plate. And what I've done is I've actually installed another piece of Velcro onto the handlebar pad. That way we can pull the unit out and put it there for tuning procedures. Once we get the unit on the bars, we can give it a kick and make sure it starts up. If your bike does not start, please check your wiring and your ground wire on the unit. The bike will not start unless the unit is properly grounded and connected to the appropriate connections. Once you have confirmed that the bike has started, you may now refer to your tuning procedure and your installation instructions on how to adjust your electronic jet kit.